Mischief Managed.
What?
You are really a fan of the cat Mischief in this film, I imagine.
It was great.
No one can ever know what we're doing.
Hey, Joe. Eating cold? Miss, you're on fire.
Very original. No, I do not want to stop, drop, and roll with you.
No, your book is on fire.
Oh my God.
Alcohol and Flynn, they like each other. Cold babies.
Kelly Jones.
I will say this, Tyler, at least now we know for a fact how they did the moon landing.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is like legit.
Yeah.
This is a biography.
I don't think so.
Oh.
It could have been. Who knows? It's in the hidden records.
It's sleight of hand. You know what I'm saying? Like,
could have been like, now you see me.
This could be like so right out in the open.
Yeah.
That it's gotta be fake, right?
Right. What a film.
I mean, did you ever think about that?
I did. Well, I mean, that's what I was thinking about. Well, the whole premise of the film was interesting because of, people still not believing that the moon landing was real.
Right. I've seen some things and I don't know, man. It's kind of a weird thing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's fake, but there's a lot of whys to it. Like why haven't we gone back to the moon? I mean, they were just really adamant about not going back. Obviously there was the other Apollo, first Apollo obviously, and then the aborted was at 13 supposedly.
Yeah.
But when you look at some of the science behind it, you look at like the aluminum foil, and they say
it does look super cheesy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Again, I'm not saying it's fake, but there's a lot of questions that I have.
There are a lot of questions.
So
it could be fake. I don't know. It's on a screen on TV is where we observed it happening.
Honestly, they faked other things.
Right.
That we know now.
Yeah.
So
it's possible.
If it's
possible,
just fun to talk about.
It's possible.
I'm not trying to create
Which
some
is why this film was so
podcast.
interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I enjoyed this film a whole lot more than I thought I was going to.
So do you want my brief summary?
Yes, because I think
what do you
is
think
I think you don't like this film as much.
What do you think is my take?
I think that I don't know, but I'm getting a sense that you didn't like it.
Okay.
That's just what I'm feeling.
I think we should play poker.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Oh, did you really?
There were moments I didn't like, but as a whole picture, I liked it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting.
I really did. Yeah.
Because we had talked about this film last week about going to see it for reviewing it today.
Yeah.
I had only seen, I think I'd seen one preview maybe on this, and that was it.
I haven't seen anything on it at all. I saw the poster.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last week off camera, but I saw the poster for it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Scarlett and, Channing Tatum. Which, by the way, Chris Evans was signed up to do this.
Which tracks?
Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he backed out.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Another fun fact, actually, while we're on that sidebar, Jason Bateman was going to direct.
Oh, interesting.
And he backed out due to creative differences.
I don't know what that would.
Okay.
He's an interesting guy to me.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I know. Who's right, who's wrong? I don't know. That's just it's on the internet. It's got to be real.
Sure. Amen. Yeah. So I didn't know much about it, so I was like, there was not much marketing for this. I feel it's an Apple TV produced show or movie, which is always interesting to me that Apple TV is getting in the game now and publishing it more on the big screen than I'm assuming streaming it later. So I had lower expectations of this. I was like, I think I'll enjoy it, but it's just going to probably be a film to pass by until we can watch Twisters and Deadpool vs. Wolverine.
Right. $100 million budget on this.
Really?
It's hard. Yeah. I'm like, where was that?
No idea.
That seems interesting.
Those rocket launches were real.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So I imagine, I don't know, but I imagine it was probably a lot of it in the cars and the look of 1969.
I could assume some good chunk on cast too.
For sure, definitely. But Scarlett Johansson was a producer.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wonder what kind of, how she navigated that. And it's very interesting because when you look at it, it's $100 million, huh?
Yeah.
You know what?
And it wasn't marketing.
No, it was not marketing. And is that because are they holding out for it to go to Apple?
That's what I don't know.
You know, like, are they going to really push subscriptions or you know, I don't know.
That's what I don't understand about it. You saw it with Amazon when we watched the Nike film last year. And that's the thing I don't understand about this is that it was clearly, I mean, the one thing where they were like, Netflix, let's buy the rights so we can stream it.
Right.
Because we didn't produce it, we don't have much stake, but we'll pay so our service can have it and others can't. Whereas this is, no, Apple is producing it and will release it to the big screen, and then we're going to put on our streaming service. And so then what's the expectation there for Apple TV of like, well, we want you to have the subscription, but also you should go see it in theaters so that way we can recoup some money outside of the subscription service.
Right. I don't understand like how they're gonna recover that kind of money because it didn't do anything in the box office. 20 million.
No. Yeah, it's not going to do any better. It's probably going to be one of those that will be on Apple TV in the next week.
You think the next week?
Week or two.
Yeah.
I don't see this staying in theaters for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree.
Unfortunately.
I know. I agree again.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
It is. It is odd.
To agree with you.
Amen. Not many people do it, so it takes some guts.
Wise people. Actor chemistry?
A lot better than I thought it was going to be again.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Let me ask you this: you had seen one trailer, you didn't really know much about it. Why did you go?
The premise was interesting.
Okay. Purely the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to me, it does have. We talk about not a lot of things being creatively new in Hollywood anymore. It's a lot of these sequels, or we're going to rehash the same type of stories and stuff like that. And to me, this was unique because it makes sense for a film, but I've never seen a film about it like this. And so to me, I was like, oh, this could be really interesting. And I like Scarlett Johansson. I forget who the Moon director. I forget what his character is, but he's in a show called Community, and he plays a dean. And I always think his character is like just absolutely wild.
Does that sound right? Jim Rash.
And so I was excited to see him in this.
Yeah.
And the whole idea too of Scarlett Johansson's character being a marketing centric.
Yeah.
Scamming basically the whole United States. Again,
the world, really.
Yeah. It was another interesting thing to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what hooked me on this. And I was like, there's nothing else out really.
Oh, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
Did you see anything about the Horizon movie?
No. But didn't it get pushed back? Maybe, okay.
Oh.
I say no, but then I say yes.
Right. No. Yeah.
No, yes.
I got
it. It's the Minnesotan way.
So they're not gonna put the second one in theaters. They pulled it completely from theaters. It did so horribly bad.
Yeah.
I really want to see it, but I just didn't know if you. But yeah, so that's what they're doing apparently. Is they're shuffling things around, and these streaming services, even though Apple TV's in on it, they're gonna put nails in the coffins of these theaters. Another one, the one in Rochester, they're done. They got bought out a year and a half ago or 2 years ago or whatever it was, and they're like, we can't make it.
No.
And repurpose the building, so.
What do you even repurpose a theater into? At least nowadays, when it's not like big places aren't really like people go to.
No, right? It's and I
make into a paintball.
There you go. Do it. Let's lease it.
That's right.
You can sign the lease.
All right.
Anyway, it's just, if they don't put the effort into it, theaters, they're their own worst enemy, essentially.
100%.
They're gonna be the ones that put it to an end to it completely, and they're gonna wonder why.
Yeah.
These streaming services, I mean.
No, I know.
Like, they're gonna wonder, well, we need the theaters,
Yeah.
But whatever. Anyway.
Let's go on a rant.
Woody Harrelson, I literally did not know he was in this until
I didn't either.
His name popped up.
Yeah. And he heard his voice.
Well, right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So that was cool. I like that. I think we haven't seen Ray Romano
in a long time.
Long time.
I love him as like I enjoy his type of characters that are very dry
yes.
and down to earth.
So that was fun to see. Obviously it's a big cast because they have a lot of people involved in making this kind of stuff happen. So
it's not easy to fake something.
Exactly.
Especially to this scale.
And
involve the Russians, man.
Beat the Russians.
That's right.
And so it's one of those things that how is this going to all be put together? Granted, the cast was not like all A-listers by any means. I mean, there's really I don't even think I'd call Channing Tatum an A-lister. I guess a lot of people do, but so really there's one. I mean, Scarlett Johansson, and she's kind of working her way down here with some of the things she's been up to. Just in characters.
But she's going to be the new Pirates of the Caribbean series.
And Jurassic.
Oh, that's what it was. Maybe it wasn't Pirates.
Okay, so I didn't hear the Pirates thing. I know they've been working on
Jurassic.
it, but the Jurassic World, yeah.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
She's like, this is going to be the best script I've ever seen. I understand why people say that and why actors say that, but it also makes absolutely zero sense to me.
Right.
I mean, yeah, it's marketing. You have to say it. And so, like, this stories your credibility. And a lot of times they flop, and it's just funny.
Well, there's so many moving parts to it. I mean, timing is everything.
Yeah.
In general, I think theaters have just been hard up this year.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a lot of the films that they've been putting out have been. Well, let me even say it like this. While they're not very good, the ones that they tried to revive, like with Indiana Jones and how horrible some of that kind of stuff was, they're like, well, why are we going to go waste our time and money to go to the theater anyway?
Just buy a toilet. That's where the money's going anyways.
Exactly.
Just flush it right down.
So
maybe get a bidet. Get one of those fancy toilets.
Those are pretty cool.
But so Channing Tatum, to me, we're talking about actor chemistry. He is a hit and miss character.
Yes.
I can't say he's either great because I don't know in a lot of films where he is great. There's 22 Jump Street where he's at least interesting, but it's so well written. He is set up for success compared to
right. It'd be pretty tough.
Yeah. But he did very well in this film.
I'd say this is probably from an acting standpoint.
Yeah.
A non-action.
Yeah.
This is his best.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would say this is his best. He's been working.
Yes.
I mean, you can see he put the work in.
He did.
Yeah. So, anyway, I was surprisingly impressed.
Yeah.
With the actors and how it all worked and how they did it. Maybe I'm just hungry for something different than what's been put out, like you said.
Right.
And might have something to do with it, but I'm going to give it a 4.1 on actor chemistry just because I was very happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave it a 4 too. There's not a lot. I don't know what else I would want more from this film.
Yeah.
Like, some characters I may change, but, like, it was just, like, it did such a good job of not being real, but also being so adjacent to what the timeline was.
Right.
Where I just enjoyed it. And it was fun.
Cinematography.
Here's the other thing I'll say about Apple TV is when it comes to a production standpoint, like, they want well-produced products.
Yes.
And you see that over and over.
They're not pumping them out.
Right.
But
a lot of times, like, it's hard. I've never really seen, like, super cheesy graphics or not well done graphics. Things are usually pretty copacetic when it comes to point A to point Z. And so I thought this was really well done. I really liked the intro of how this film was shot, where it really was, in the sense that it brought you of like, hey, this is parallel to what really happened. Because they did all the news articles, they brought in a bunch of, JFK speakers of the time that people connected with because it brought back the memories of when this was actually happening.
Right.
And then the transition from... There was another transition that was, I thought, just fantastically done, where it was transition from, like, the moon or the sun, and then it panned down. And I really liked the big moon, the big suns, a lot of the pans that they did. So again, it's not an action film, and they knew that. But even, like, NASA is huge.
Yeah.
And they did a great job at making the spaces huge.
Well, they filmed at NASA.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah, that's hard to miss.
So,
yeah.
I mean, there was no fake in that one.
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And while they were there, there was a launch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so they actually captured that on all the high 4K type cameras and stuff.
Because I was thinking even some of the launches were like just.
Well, and they definitely used real footage from back in 1969.
It kind of like not that what they did in Oppenheimer for the, and it's not that good. Like when the nuke. They did like the nuke simulation, but like the launching stuff that's what it reminded me of. Like let's take it as, and it was real. So that's
right.
Hyper realistic.
I mean, it was for
you
sure.
can't do better because it is what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So cinematography, when I like the way they made it look. I mean, right from wardrobe and everything, it really looked very good. All the cars, I love cars, special old muscle cars.
Talking about cars again.
And so they had the muscle cars in there. They talk about the Mustang.
This
they had
movie
the
is about spaceships
and all that. So it's very authentic, and so I really enjoy that part of it. I'm just gonna keep going and ignore you.
How about the watches? Can we talk about the watches?
We can talk about the watches. I love watches.
Oh, good. Because you should tell me, because I really don't know, besides the fact that it was funny when they were doing the fake moon one, when they had the watches outside.
Right. right. I think that was on the real one.
It could have been.
No,
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Space time,
right. Exactly. So anyway, they just did. They clearly spent $100 million. I mean, it did look good.
Yeah.
I don't know why it would take $100 million to do what they did, but it did. So whatever. It's
better than it being $120 million and going back to Indiana Jones.
Yes.
And getting the product that we got there.
Yes. Well, that was like $400 million.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I don't want to go back to it, so I don't know why I mentioned it.
Anyway, so it was. I was impressed and surprised, and it's a little bit. It probably deserves a little bit better than this, but it's a 4.0.
Okay.
For cinematography for me, because it did look good. It probably deserves a little bit better because they were clearly shooting in some pretty cool spaces and stuff like that. So there it is.
I gave it a 4.4.
Okay.
I don't. Cinematography wise, I don't know what more I would have asked for this one. Because again, even some of like the fake recording stuff where they had you can see it in this poster where they have the lines on their back. It was cool to see we took them out. Like when you actually record it, you can't see that.
Right.
And so it's cool to see those practical effects and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
And even that whole set of the fake moon looked cool.
Yeah.
And it was fun how they snuck in.
Well, they probably used the original one from 1969.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was just all those small things, how they got those details, how they kind of spied, and they did the weird. Oh, we actually have a camera that you can live record from the moon. Top secret, can't talk about it.
Right.
But there it is.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that, it was just so fun. The pregnant Scarlett Johansson right away of whoo.
I know. I was like, what are we getting into here?
Yeah. And then she pulls it out and the diner scene. So there's just a lot of different stuff. I was like, this works together so well. And they knew the era. They knew the type of film they wanted to shoot. And so to me, a lot of from shot 1 to shot Z all connected. They still did a lot of the flashbacks too with throughout the film of the newspaper headlines and stuff like that too. Which is, I always like when they do random effects. But it's nice when they do random effects and the good ones and they tie it throughout the film rather than just using it once.
Right. Yeah. Overall entertainment.
This is proved to me sometimes in films in which if you don't have any expectations going into it, you can just be delightfully surprised.
Now you know why I love doing that.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've truly experienced that, especially since as you go to more films, it's almost harder to stay away from those things because you're watching all the trailers for the upcoming films.
Right.
And it's like, this is nice. Like, I'm at the point of Deadpool, they're releasing way too much.
Oh.
And so I have all that stuff blocked because I'm like, I've seen 2 trailers, which 2 trailers at this point is probably too much for me.
Yeah. And those 2 trailers are very different.
Yeah.
And very revealing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree.
I did watch Wolverine. They did a trailer of Wolverine, I believe, auditioning for The Bachelor.
Oh, really?
That was pretty funny. There was also one not to just switch this to Deadpool versus Wolverine to silence your phones with they did it with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, really?
And so it was really funny how they did that as well. So.
Sure.
Anyways,
Yeah.
happy I didn't watch a bunch going to this because didn't have high expectations, and so I gave it a 4.5. And
Okay.
That's probably to this point of just being like no expectations going into it. Actor chemistry was high, cinematography was high, story was good.
Story was really good.
Yeah.
I really did like how they did the story. They
Yeah.
told the story well.
Yeah,
And that you could really tell that they put the time into that story that they
Yeah.
needed to and did what they needed to do there. I guess I'd never looked at who actually did anybody write it, directed by.
it was just it was a whole improv. They got this is the idea, and now let's just
Yeah.
act scenes.
Yeah, there you go. Probably. But overall entertainment for me is not that high. It's a 4.0.
Okay.
I know they'll never sell it.
Yep.
But I would probably buy it just
Yep.
because it's going to be one of those films that in 20 years from now or whatever is going to be like, that was
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
Now we know it was fake, and this
That's
is
right.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean,
we
whatever.
got the documents that are still forged by the United States.
Exactly. But very pleasantly surprised. I don't think that this certainly will not be a waste of anybody that has any interest in this type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a waste of time for anybody.
No.
So that's what I've got.
Was it 2 hours?
Yeah, like just over 2 or something.
Yeah. Didn't feel like 2 hours. It's another indication of it.
Now, there's a couple things I thought felt like 2 hours.
That's
but,
true.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Have you seen that?
No.
Watched it last night, foolishly.
I don't believe in tattoos.
I am. That's fine. They exist.
What? Megan has a tattoo.
So I've got 2 of them.
Should have read the books.
Well, I've heard, yeah, so I looked some stuff up today very briefly, and I heard there was a couple of books or something. I don't know. I didn't really look to see how many. 2?
3, I believe.
3? Okay. But that was stayed up too late,
Don't make decisions.
Seen
What
it. I
happens
saw it
with
when it came out, like
Young
one
men
of
your
those.
age.
Exactly. Saw it when it came out, like Red Box or whatever.
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of those that I didn't see in theaters, but
And never mind, you're
It was-
old if you can reference Redbox.
exactly. That's one we should do.
Okay.
I mean, that's definitely one. We're doing Harry Potter for Titanium Tuesday, but even as just a one-off or something, it's pretty good.
What will happen after that? 50 Shades of Grey.
Very surprised.
I know nothing about Girl on the Dragon Tattoo. It sounds interesting.
I guess there's a couple of sex scenes in it.
See, I knew it.
But
How dare they have relations in a film?
right.
I'm only here to derail conversations.
Makes sense. You're successful.
I don't know why. As soon as there's certain things I don't know why when I think of Girl in Dragon Tattoo, that the first thing is like, 50 Shades of Grey. This is the tangent we're going down. It's like apples and oranges. They don't really exist, but I put them in a bowl together, and to me,
It's a nice display.
that's a nice display. Yeah.
And on that note, hey, tell us what you think. Leave us a comment, hammer the like button, hammer the share button, and let all your friends know how insanely idiotic we are. We would appreciate that. And you can also
Send us an email at legitq@maddysmoviemix.com.
see you next time.